Hey there, call me Yuma. When you think of your parental figures, what comes to your mind? Admiration? Love? Respect? Annoyance? Or straight up hatred? What do you think of that web that tied you to your family? Do you cherish it and always try to strengthen it? Did you act indifferent towards it and don't really care? Or did you resent it and try to sever it? What would I do if I was in a flawed family? Can I face that misfortune? Will I become crazier than I already am? Can I comfort those who's in a bad situation? Canto 9 is really something else. It touches subjects that is really somber, hard and complicated, while at the same time offering probably the most hype moments and aura than any other canto so far. And they nailed it. But the thing is, I am stupid. And I don't really understand what the hell is happening. Like, everything happened so fast. From the very beginning, there is destruction everywhere. The stakes are high, with Limbus company as a whole probably get massive damage from this. The sinners constantly get separated. Amazing side characters either dead or heavily injured. Moses Hips, the entire Distorted Detective group minus Yuria, finally interacting with the LCB crew. Vespa becomes a fucking color fixer. Hold up, is that the Furioso? Dante activating 2 new powers. Eduardo Eruric. What do you mean there's a second smoke war? Did Virgilius just lost a clash? This boss kicked my ass, by the way, because I didn't read. Diaz? What is... Huh? They jam-packed so much into a canto that, not gonna lie, it feels overwhelming to me. Point is, there is so much stuff happening and my brain goes, does not compute. System shut down. But instead of taking the time to process the story, instead I moved on to do something else because I'm super busy with commissions at the time. But now, I want to change that. I want to retrace the story, try to understand it and process it even more by making this video. I want to talk about my experience with it, the profound moments, the core characters, and the lessons that I get from this canto. I encourage you to point out the things that I get wrong, or maybe share your interpretation on anything Canto 9 related. Now, let's begin with talking about the Nurse Father. Nurse Fathers are high-ranking people that got exiled from every finger, banished into the House of Spiders. These Nurse Father and Ryoshu embodied what I think to be the main emotion of this canto. Emotion that is 2 sides of the same coin. Love and hatred. A very twisted form of love and a very extreme form of hatred. The way they're written is really interesting because each one of them seems to represent a specific kind of flawed parents that got exaggerated to maximum. Valencina is from the Thumb, a mafia-like syndicate that is all about respecting hierarchy. Her having problems with the Thumb is not that surprising, isn't it? She is rebellious, always angry, and just look at her. No way she knows how to respect people.
Daddy, chill.
Valencina is the typical parents that is obsessed with their child's success. The quintessential Asian parents that will have no problem in doing anything that in their mind will make their kid grow stronger. Sometimes doing it out of goodwill. And other times out of pride and ego. She even deadass hit child Ryoshu in the face and makes Ryoshu had to endure this kind of verbal and physical abuse every day. It's so messed up. Callisto is from The Ring, which is all about art. Despite being a ring maestro, the art group chat finds Callisto's art to be uninspired and outdated, so they kicked him. I have to agree, just look at everything that he made. All he did was find dead bodies and turn them into weird looking shit. 1 out of 10, Callisto. Come back to me when you learn how to draw anime girls. Callisto to me is the kind of parents that want their kid to success them despite what the kid wants. He wants Ryoshu to accept and validate his art, his style. He reminds me of those families that force their kid to continue the family business, not caring whether the kid wants it or not. Matthias is from the middle, which is all about family, brotherhood. At first, he seems like a really cool guy, isn't it? I really liked him with his swagger and seemingly bombastic way of caring about his family, until he blamed Araya for Ryoshu's departure, wanting to get rid of the little pipsqueak, as he said. And that's when it hit me. This guy, despite stating that he will fulfill everything that Ryoshu wants, he doesn't really give a shit about her, isn't he? To me, it seemed like he just wants to relive his broken childhood vicariously through Ryoshu. That's why in this cutscene he gave Ryoshu specifically the purple bear and many more stuff that she didn't need. Not because it's what Ryoshu wants, but it is what he would want as a kid. He even smacked Kira, his new child, almost killing her, calling it a necessary sacrifice. It is clear now that family to him is just someone that could benefit him. Next is Shiomi Yoru, someone from the Pinky, a syndicate that is all about... I don't know. We don't really know what's the deal with these people. All we know is that they are based on the 108 heroes from the novel Water Margin, so they have these star as their title. Tiantui Star, Tianju Star, Tiangang Star, and Shiomi is Dihui Star, a woman that is tasked to be Ryoshu's biological mother. Shiomi is the kind of parents that instead of feeling happy for having a kid, she feels burdened by it, trapped even, her freedom stripped away from her by force, her face wrinkled and old, and that frustration manifests in a beyond fucked up verbal abuse. And the last one is my favorite, Rien, the index guy, a syndicate that is all about following the will of the prescript. He's here because the prescript, aka Hermes, told him to, and he acts like some kind of leader in the House of Spiders. Rian is really interesting to me because how empty he is, only following what the index god told him to, down to a T. I see Rian as the kind of guy that only follows what our society told him to do in a very twisted, apathetic way. The collective of people told him that he should be this kind of person. So he did, but deep down, he doesn't really care. You should get a job at 20. At 25, you should get married and then have a kid. These things that people told you is not necessarily be wrong. What's dangerous is when you just following it without thinking for yourself and grown to be apathetic towards everything. That is what Rian is to me, but exaggerated to a comical degree. His looks, his attire, his mannerism, his actions, everything about him is what Hermes told him to be. It really is curious just who exactly is the one controlling the House of Spiders. Perhaps there is some kind of powerful entity that is conspiring to control the Five Fingers or something. Is the index god, aka Will of the City, the one pulling the strings here? We don't really know. All we know is that this fucked up house created LCB Center number 4, Ryoshu. Prior to Canto 9, Ryoshu really is an enigma, isn't she? But despite how unhinged she behaves, she's seemingly the only sinner that actually got her shit together. She's strong, she's competent, and always true to herself. It's only in Spring Cultivation that we actually see another side of her besides the various ID stories. Because of that, Ryoshu's Canto is quite different. In early Canto, what we see is basically character introduction. Then from Canto 3 onwards, we see the character growth of every sinner firsthand. But in Canto 9, Ryoshu's growth already happened when she met Araya. What we get here is a closure to Ryoshu's story.
안녕하세요.
The most precious daughter, Araya. Araya, Baraya, Agabaraya. A kid that Ryoshu accidentally found during missions and supposed to be a clone of Arayashiki Wielder. I must say, they really nailed the daughter aspect of Araya, aren't they? You know how in any stories that chose anime for their style, it is uncommon for a kid character to actually act and feel like a kid. So seeing a character like Araya is refreshing. Araya reminds me of my niece so much. The way she showed her new Randoseru, the way she teach Ryoshu new things and nags at her for getting it wrong is just exactly how my niece act. It's kind of uncanny to me. Also, it is hilarious how Araya is canonically a Gen Alpha kid. I did not expect Ryoshu's habit of abbreviation to have such a wholesome origin, oh my god. I thought that's just her being quirky. But this makes what happened to her even more sad. After being tipped off by Lei Hong out of all people, Ryoshu realizes that in the eyes of the nurse father, Araya is but a scabbard to keep her in check. And one day, that scabbard will lose its usefulness. So, she needs to run away with her. To do that, Ryoshu puts Araya inside a vault that had T-Corp singularity. It's T-Corp again. It's T-Corp. It's always T-Corp, with the special effect of having a different flow of time from the outside world, in the hope that one day she will be able to get her out after taking care of every threat. Not knowing that this special power only works on Ryoshu and not for Araya, because Ryoshu has a better blood and time perception ability or something like that. This makes Araya stuck in the state of time entanglement, experiencing her entire life's timeline at once. Please correct me if I'm wrong here. Ryoshu ran from House of Spiders and killed Shiomi, aka the Hui Star, so she's dead, right? What we see in Canto 9 is Araya taking the role of the Hui Star because she's a clone to wield the Arayashiki. That's why she has the Hui Star's appearance with the blue hair strands and stuff. Is this correct? At first, I always thought that they are the same person, and it fucked my brain thinking Araya is both a daughter and the mother of Ryoshu. Anyway, because of this time entanglement, Araya grown to be bitter and hate Ryoshu. Why would her mom leave her in the dark, cold vault? Why her mom makes her experience decades of loneliness? Why would her mom abandon her? Why would a mother forget her child? To Ryoshu, this is her sacrifice to save her daughter. After all, every time she uses that sword, a part of her memory is getting severed. But to Araya, this is a painful betrayal. Even when they met again, her mother doesn't even remember her anymore. This sequence of Ryoshu contemplating about Araya and how she could have grown is so painful. I'm like sobbing when this happened. I don't know, there's just something about the stoic and cold Ryoshu narrating this. How happy and bright Araya is portrayed, it gets to me, okay? It's fucking sad. And in a battle against what Ryoshu thought to be the Hui Star, Ryoshu stabbed her in the heart. It's only after Ryoshu finally able to see her face that she realized she just killed her own daughter, someone she's been so desperately trying to protect. And to make things worse, Ryoshu stabbed Araya with the Arayashiki. Ryoshu is shaken to her very core. She can feel something missing. She can feel something so dear, so important to her, just snapped away. And she can't quite remember it. What is it? What is it that she just lost? The only thing that Ryoshu knows is that she's the one that's just erased her most precious treasure. And Ryoshu, feeling like she just lost everything that is dear to her, proceed to cut the chain that bounds her to Dante. Ryoshu completely lost it, using Arayashiki to cut everything that is in front of her, becoming mindless in the process. It is then revealed that the true objective of House of Spider is to turn Ryoshu into ultimate concept incinerator, the perfect tool to completely erase everything that the Fingers wants to eradicate, putting Ryoshu into the state of complete mindlessness, madness, and nihility, which is just so fucking cruel. There's already so much cruelty in Project Moon works, but until now I still didn't get desensitized to it. However, in the midst of this chaos, a fragment of Araya remains. She is able to reconcile and help her mother, sealing the Arayashiki sword that is devouring Ryoshu's mind. Again, I don't know exactly what happened here. Like, how is this possible? Is there some kind of help from the Golden Bow resonance? That's why Araya could understand what Ryoshu went through and effectively forgive her? And how is exactly Araya could remain despite already being erased? I don't know. But again, the feels. It hits hard. And finally, the last obstacle. Rien. The one that is seemingly the mastermind of all of this, or at least the executor of the real plan. Rien is another enigma. I feel like he's stuck in this state of apathy and empathy, blindly following the prescript while having a little bit of doubt in it. After all, isn't it super telling how Sora, his new kid, is the one that manifests ego because of her absolute devotion to the prescript, but not Rien, the one that followed everything the prescript told him. It seems like he slowly become genuinely care about Ryoshu, but at the same time, he's only doing it to follow the prescript. This contradiction persists in every nurse father. At first, all of them gives the impression that they sees Ryoshu only as a tool, as a medium that they can use to fulfill their own goals. But I can't help but think it's more than that. Those moments that they share in the House of Spiders seems to give them just a little bit of joy in their fucked up lives. Like how Valencina seems to feel a profound happiness that she can't quite understand when child Ryoshu saying that she will help her to achieve her goals despite this messed up thumb exile just hit her in the face. The way Callisto seems to enjoy the time he spends teaching his way of art to Ryoshu and feel overjoyed when Ryoshu began to have the capacity to critique his art. The way Matthias seems to feel happiness by fulfilling what Ryoshu wants and always ready to deliver vengeance to anyone that dare to mess with her. And the way Rian gladly told Ryoshu stories from picture books, but then saving the ending for a later time because he wants to give Ryoshu a reason to keep interacting with him and giving him a justification to continue bonding with her. A false hope that these moments too will have no ending. Yes, the hatred is real. The blatant abuse is also very real. But that little bit of love, that little bit of care, no matter how twisted that love manifests, is also real. And now, after a long battle and motherfucking furioso,
Jingle, jingle, jingle.
kugon kugogu nigo nigo ni,
Jingle, jingle, it's okay, look at the shiny.
Ryoshu ends Rian's phony, lonely life, severing every last bit of webs that connect this fucked up family. Rian's life stays phony and miserable to the very end, molded by the prescript to become a copy of Rulan, someone he doesn't even sure exists. He's told to build a family, have a child, and watch as they got killed according to the prescript. You know, maybe my assessment of Rian from before was wrong. He said that apathy is the way to live in the city, but he never said that he personally don't care of Ryoshu or his past family. Maybe those pretty words that he said to Ryoshu, his desire to see Ryoshu grow up and then finally told all of the endings of those stories were all genuine. It's just that he can't possibly act against the prescript. In his skill description, you can see that he always has doubt about the prescript and couldn't do anything besides accepting it. And now after that, he literally told to recreate the non-canon bad ending of Library of Ruina where Rulan died in a sewer, reciting prayers of loving sorrow. But in the last act of rebellion, he refuses to recite the whole poem, saying that it is exhausting, and kills himself with a spoon.
아무래도 네가 땡 쳐주는 걸 잊어버린 모양이야.
Canto 9 ends with memories about Araya gets wiped out of Ryoshu. It's interesting here how ambiguous the finale of her character arc is, but for now, she finds another connection, in form of a chain that binds her with the sinners. She can choose to sever it again, yes, but at least for now, she decides to stay. As Dante says it, it seemed like she knows that something important had flowed out of her and disappeared. She doesn't even ask why her scabbard looks different. But as long as the scabbard remained and the bus keeps moving, Araya can resurface. So Dante will keep turning the clock. And when they did, everyone will see the same starry sky. For when Dante revived the sinners, Ryoshu too will exist in that moment, alongside what is forgotten but cannot be lost. Her only daughter, Araya. In this canto, ProjectMoon explored something very nuanced. If I had to condense the main thing that I get into a sentence, it would be, for your own sake, some connections needs to be severed. But it is impossible to completely cut those connections. After all, those webs, those connections, is what influence us to become the way we are now. Even if you cut it, you are still gonna be the same person. But you need connections, you need bind, you need a chain that will stop you from losing your way. Hello. Welcome to the Campfire Talk, a section when we're about to get real for a minute. Just like Canto 5 video, I wanna ask, just for funsies, if you put Canto 9 into a tier list, where it would be? To me, Canto 5 is still higher because, well, I explain myself here, but Canto 9 to me is an A tier, like a high A. They managed to explore such nuanced and heavy topic with grace and authenticity that is rare to see from many stories, and I love it. However, because there's so much happening here, it does feel like the story is going a bit too fast in my opinion. It would have been nice if we can flesh out the characters like the new apprentice or the Limbus company employees. It just need a little bit more time, considering how much stuff happening in this canto. Now I'm really looking forward on how they will tackle Canto 10, the gaze bearing Mr. Salt canto. A few people recommend me to read The Stranger in the PM Brainrot video, so I'm actually kind of interested, and I heard it's Kim Ji-hoon's favorite. But I'm really conflicted with reading these sources, because my way of experiencing a story is going at it as blindly as possible. Getting surprised and not being able to predict a character is one of my favorite feelings while reading a story. I'm just afraid that if I read The Strangers, it will kind of reduce that element I like so much, But oh well, I've rambled for long enough now. Thank you so much for watching all the way here. Your time is something that I really appreciate. For now though, we must part ways. But we shall meet again. Thanks for coming by and be safe, friend. Don't you dare go hollow.